Why does everyone's AI output look the same? Same sentence structure, same hedging, same confident but vague answers. You give it a detailed prompt and it still comes back sounding like it could have been written for anyone. The problem isn't the model. The problem is that you're asking an expert to work without their expertise. You're giving the AI your question, but not your context, your standards, your judgment, the way you actually think about this domain. That's what a framework carries. And without it, every response is the average of everything the model has ever seen about your topic, which sounds fine until you need it to actually sound like you. Generic doesn't mean wrong. Generic means optimized for the broadest possible audience. When you ask an AI to write a marketing email, it writes a marketing email that would work reasonably well for most businesses in most situations. When you ask it to analyze a competitor, it gives you the analysis framework most marketing consultants would reach for. When you ask it to help you think through a pricing decision, it walks you through the standard considerations most founders encounter. None of that is bad, but none of it is yours. Your business has a specific customer who thinks in a specific way. Your competitor analysis needs to account for factors that are specific to your market. Your pricing decision involves trade-offs that come from your actual history, what your customers have said, what your margins look like, what your positioning requires. The AI doesn't know any of that unless you tell it. And telling it once in a prompt means telling it again every single session. That's not a workflow. That's a tax on your time. A framework is how you tell it once and have it remember permanently. 3 side-by-side examples. Same request, different outputs. Example 1. Email subject lines. The generic prompt says, write 5 subject lines for a sales email. The result is 5 technically correct subject lines that could belong to any company. The framework version loads a voice calibration framework with band constructions, known audience psychology, specific tone parameters, and examples of approved subject lines from past campaigns. The result is 5 subject lines that sound like they came from one specific person who knows one specific audience. Example 2. Competitive analysis. The generic prompt says, analyze my competitor's positioning. The result is a standard SWOT-adjacent analysis covering the obvious angles. The framework version loads a competitive intelligence framework with specific criteria weighted to this market, known positioning traps in this industry, and the specific factors that have historically mattered for this type of customer decision. The result is analysis that surfaces the non-obvious angle, not the one every consultant would produce. Example 3. Content idea generation. The generic prompt says, give me 10 LinkedIn post ideas. The result is 10 posts any thought leader in any industry could write. The framework version loads a content strategy framework with the specific thesis this creator is known for, the audience segments they're writing to, the content types that have performed historically, and the topics that are off limits. The result is 10 posts only this person could write. Some of them already have the hook built in. The difference isn't the model. It's the difference between working with a talented stranger and working with someone who's been in the room for every important conversation you've had. The antidote to generic is specificity, and specificity lives in frameworks. The fastest way to start: take the last time an AI gave you an answer that missed. Ask yourself, what did it not know that would have changed the output? Usually, it's one of 3 things. It didn't know your standards, what good actually looks like for you specifically. It didn't know your context, the history, the constraints, the things you've already tried. Or it didn't know your reasoning, the way you think about this category of problem, the trade-offs you weight, the instincts you've developed. Write those down. 3 sentences each. That's the beginning of a framework. Load it at the start of the next session and see what changes. Most people are surprised how fast the output shifts from "that's fine" to "that actually sounds like me." The model isn't the variable. You are. The AI is only as specific as what you give it. Frameworks are how you give it everything you know, once, permanently, in a format it can actually use. If you want to build your first framework from scratch, Episode 2 of this series walks through the full process. The methodology is at howtoframework.com.